All right, so we are back in the bathtub reading a books, or rather, I didn't read, I was reviewing it. So yesterday we talked about Tracy on page 280, and the point of Tracy was there was incest. She was sexually abused by her father, and she confronted both of her parents, and the mother was like, "Oh, don't let anyone know," and that was her attitude. And that wasn't the point. The point was, even though the father was a molester, the mother put up with him, even after it was revealed, she said, ultimately, Tracy decided to maintain a relationship with her parents, but to have only limited contact, because that's how you reward child molesters. Anyways, so I was a bit peeved about it. Like, even with something this extreme, people just go back, right? Okay, and we left off with the idea that there's another guy in this book, another vignette, or yeah, I think that's what it's called. Another short story with somewhat anonymized details was Dan. Now, Dan did get molested. That was the same-sex molestation from the father, and that is on page 286. But I confused it because I remembered, wasn't there a story where you had it wasn't just that both of the parents, both of the parents were the point is, I thought there was another story with a slightly different parental responses, where the mother stayed with the abusive father, but then the child still went back to the mother, but not the father, even though the mother was still with the abusive guy. As it turns out, the story with Dan is that the mother was actually very sorry about the whole thing, but the mother in Dan's story divorced the molester father a decade before, okay? So the father was already out of the picture. All right. But then I look up on page 286 and say, well, maybe it's another story, and it was. It was Connie, and that is page 286. And I think I'm going to read a page or two's worth. Yes, I think I will read the whole thing. That's fine. So this is 284, in case you're following along or need a reference for it. Confronting the silent partner, meaning basically you have the abuser and then in this case, the mother who didn't abuse, but kind of either enabled or just didn't know, which is kind of weird. But anyways, confronting the silent partner. Connie's parents lived in another state, so she decided to confront with separate letters to her father and mother. During the exercise in which she played herself as a child, Connie had remembered that when her father molested her the first time, she had told her mother. It was especially important to Connie to find out why her mother had failed to take steps to protect her. Connie was climbing the walls with anxiety after she mailed her letters. After 3 weeks, she bemoaned the fact that she hadn't gotten an answer from her father. But you have, I said. This is the therapist, Susan, the writer of the book, right? His answer is that he's not willing to deal with this. Connie did, however, get a letter from her mother. She read part of it to the group. So this is Connie. No matter what I say, it will always be inadequate for all the harm that has been done to you. Oh, never mind. Sorry, this is the mother writing to Connie. Yeah, that makes more sense. At the time, I had thought I was protecting you the best I knew how. I did talk to him about it, but he apologized and swore he wouldn't do it again. He seemed so sincere. He begged for another chance and told me he loved me. No one will ever know my fear, my uncertainty. I didn't know what to do. I thought the problem was over. Now I realize to my own disgust how he tricked me so easily. I wanted a happy family so badly that I resorted to the big cover-up. I was so intent on keeping peace in our lives. My mind is going around in circles, and I can't say any more about this right now. Maybe, as always, I've been no help to you, Connie, but please accept that I do love you and want the very best for you. Love, Mom. So continuing with the therapist writing the book, the letter stirred up some hope for Connie that the two of them could initiate a more honest relationship. At my suggestion, Connie set up a conference call between her mother, herself and me. During the call, Connie's mother, Margaret, again expressed her sorrow over what had happened and again acknowledged her weakness and complicity. I too began to have hopes that these two women could build something of value between them, ... until Connie asked for one more thing she really wanted. Connie, I don't expect you to leave him after all these years. We'll get back to that. But there is one thing that's really important to me. I want you to go to him and tell him how horrible what he did to me was. I don't want anything from him. He's a sick, crazy man, and I've had to accept that. But I do want him to hear this from you. So Connie's asking the mother, hey, go to him and say, Margaret was silent for a long time. Margaret, I can't do that. I just can't do that. Please don't ask me to do that. Meh. Connie, so you're going to protect him over me just like you always have. When I got your letter, I thought maybe finally I was going to have a mother. I thought maybe you could be on my team this once. Just being sorry isn't enough, Mom. You need to do something for me. You need to show you love me, not just say it. Margaret, Connie, it was a long time ago. You have your own life, your own family now. He's all I've got. Okay, so this is the author. Connie was bitterly disappointed when her mother refused to do the one thing she asked, but she recognized that her mother had made her choice a long time ago. It was unrealistic for Connie to expect anything different at this time in their lives. All right, now, this is the big punchline. Just like we had yesterday, Connie decided that for her well-being, she would maintain minimal mail and phone contact with her mother and accept her mother's limitations. She decided to cut off all contact with her father. So, that's the story of confronting the mother, confronting the father, and not getting at least, well, you got the answer that he doesn't want to talk about it, right? By not having a letter. So, right, Connie, not Dan, but both incest. Tracy, we've been through that. 284, conformity. Yes. Yes. So, here we go. Right, the first nod to the camera was, I don't expect you to leave him, right? So, this is Connie and the mother. It's like, well, why not? I mean, why not, right? And again, it's important because it wasn't one time, right? So Connie was molested throughout her childhood, and then when the mother, when what do you call it? I think that's the story. Is that when Connie confronted the mother when she was a child or younger, then the father told the mother, "Oh, it's not going to happen again," but it did. All right, so. Okay, so it did happen. It's not like, oh, it's a one-off molestation. Well, that's a freebie, right? No, but it wasn't, right? It happened all over again. It happened over and over. So the expectation that I don't expect you to leave him. Well, no, you should expect to leave him, right? Why is that so hard? And then the mother says, why? Well, in the dialogue it says, oh, it was such a long time ago, so forget about it. Yeah, forgive and forget. Of course, and so I hate that. You have your own life. You have your own family. He's all I've got. It's like, well, but it's like, okay, here's nothing. You got nothing, right? And then here's like negative. And it's like, this is where you are. You're at the bottom of the tub here, okay? Because here's nothing, you're alone, but here's a molester, okay? So your value scale is, I'd rather be around a known molester who, again, because again, with the incest, there's always cheating, man. You're cheating on your wife with the fucking daughter, okay? Gross, okay? It's just sick. So this woman's like, oh, he's all I've got. It's like, but it's a negative. It's so that is the insanity of it. That some people just fear that loneliness that they'd rather put up with a molester. Right? But then again, the punchline is Connie decided that for her well-being, she would maintain minimal mail and phone contact. Now, again, maybe not physical contact and go over for dinner. But why would you want to maintain contact with somebody who's like, oh, I'd rather be around a molester than have a discussion about that molester molesting my own daughter? Because it's right? It's just like, wow. And again, just to highlight, this is one of those things when I read this book. It was like, wait a second. So even for things that seem well, by comparison to say what happened to me, because again, I didn't have any sexual abuse, but compared to me, this would be super duper extreme, right? This would be a lot worse. But even for extreme stuff, Tracy maintains contact. And Connie, she'll keep in touch via the mail and phone with her mother, who continues to be around the molester because, he's all I got. Why? Why don't people have that? No, you're shit. I don't want to be around you. I get what's going on here, and I'm sick of this. Why don't people have that attitude? That you got the answer right here is, oh, it's a long time ago, forget about it. And that's the problem, is if that's the attitude, then if anything's coming up in my life, if I'm Connie, that has something to do with this. Or even if it's, oh, right, you know how dad molested me and raped me? Yeah, I kind of have to have a conversation about with my own children and make sure that doesn't happen, right, with other people, right? You can't ever bring that up then, right? What a way to bring it up, right? But that's the whole point. If people want to be stunted in I don't want to remember this, I don't want to talk about the abuse, then you're appeasing that. And if you're around that person, why would you need that? Why can't you just be honest all the time? Yeah, says the guy who hasn't talked about any of this stuff, and it's much lesser than this for 15, 20 years. Yeah, I get it. But that's kind of part of it, is this is just not fulfilling. This let's pretend that we could even be around molesters or the people who are around molesters. And, it's just minimal contact. Meh. It's like, no, you got to draw that line. It's just like, no, this isn't going to work out. Sorry. You choose the molester. You choose the molester over. And again, it's the ultimate. I'm sorry, my contacts are getting old and I have to wet them every 3 seconds. Look at that. Nice and good for 5 minutes. So, I had a good one. So the choice is, it's not, one choice could be if Connie wasn't even in the picture, right? If it was just a realization of Margaret the mother, she could say, I could be alone. That's choice number one. Or I could be around a molester who at the same time cheated on me. So raped and sexually assaulted my daughter and cheated on me on top of that, because that's right. So alone versus being around a molester who cheated on me at the same time. How is this a difficult choice, right? How is this difficult? And then it's not even that. Because what's-her-face, Connie could have been like, well, okay, so you can be with molester, okay? You can be with molester who cheated on you and hurt me, or you could be maybe with me. I don't even recommend that, but that's a possibility. Okay, you're not around your husband who, again, cheated on you and hurt me, right? You're not around him, but then you can be around us, and if there's any kids in the picture, Connie's kids or something. So grandkids, more functional family, maybe you can be kind of integrated into it, or stay with the molester. Now, Connie didn't give that ultimatum, and I'm not even a fan of ultimatums, but that's a possibility too. That's kind of on Connie of, okay, you are okay with the molester, basically. You're okay with the person who stays with the molester, and you're still going to reward them with mail and phone contact. Why? Why? What benefit could somebody have in your life who says, I'd rather be... What benefit is somebody in your life if they say, I'd rather be around a molester who cheated on me than not be around that person? There we go. If there's one sentence in here, oh man, that might be the title. I'd rather be, all right, can we make that true? I'd rather be around a molester than to be alone. There we go. Right. That's it. And it's like, no, I don't. And just to make it about, just to make it about me and my values. I'm also thirsty. So, just to talk about my own thing, one of the things I didn't like about rereading this for the millionth time now is there is a lot of good stuff in here. It's like, here's everybody else, just boring and blatherous, and, just empty, oh, that's all terrible. It's like, this is good, but we want to be like right here. And that's that gap that, unfortunately, I have not been able to bridge either. And the other people I've looked at over the years, I don't think they've quite bridged that either. Okay, this is really good. But this one last thing here about how you're maintaining contact with your molester. Let's look up the exact Tracy stuff. It's a couple pages back. Confronting the side. Now, to be fair to her, she does say separation, you don't have to see your parents, you don't have to forgive. Very good stuff, but even with this, without comment, it's left in there. Just maintain mail and phone contact with a person, with the person who is around your molester. Absolutely. Very healthy stuff. Or again, with Tracy, Liz, that's not Liz. Who's a Liz? There we go. Ultimately, Tracy decided to maintain a relationship with her parents. The father molested her, and the mother said, oh, well, don't tell the neighbors, right? So ultimately, Tracy decided to maintain a relationship with her parents, but to have only limited contact with them. Now, again, it doesn't go into specifically what limited it is, but okay, why any? And Tracy's was even worse because, well, I don't know if it's much worse, because it was basically the same. It was basically molester father. The mother says that they didn't know, but the mother basically, after the fact, said, oh yeah, let's not talk about this again. No, let's just keep the status quo of me being around a molester. Right? And again, it's like by not saying, well, wait a second, let's not even have limited contact, or what's going on here? Why are you rewarding your molesters with any attention? It's crazy. If random people on the street raped you, right, would you have limited contact with them later after they basically said, oh, well, it's let's never talk about this, and it's going to make me look bad in front of other people, so, No, but it's the parents who molested you, the people who had the most responsibility to not do that. And even now, because again, you can't change the past. Yeah, that's some tried bullshit cliche, of course. But the present is, no, don't talk about it. Just don't let anyone know. I like this format. Not the incest and all that, but I like this format. I like that I'm finally able to talk about it. Because this was the one thing in the book where it's like, okay, lots of good stuff. You don't have to even be around your parents, but some people kind of do continue, even in the most extreme abuse, even when there's no present acknowledgement of the past, right? And this is my thing with the forgiveness is, so whenever people, forgive, what does forgiveness mean when something this terrible happens? When something, and again, it's not even how terrible it happened then. I don't even care about that. Okay, it's in the present that people do not acknowledge that they did anything wrong. In the father's case with Tracy, I think it was he was a pastor or something. He might have acknowledged it or something, but it's already running to. That's fine. We can do more. Who cares? Harold, Tracy. Oh, Harold. That was right. Oh, yeah, the father was like, you're blackmailing me, Tracy. He made no attempt to deny the incest, but tried to minimize it by reminding Tracy that he had never hurt her physically. So maybe it wasn't like full-blown rape or something. Yeah, it wasn't full-blown rape, so what are you complaining about, right? Right, but he was scared that, his primary concern was about the effects on his marriage and his professional status if all this became public knowledge. And it did become public, well, it became knowledge to the wife, and the wife says, when I told my mother I won't agree to do that, to forgive and forget, and not to tell anyone else, the mother said, why? Yeah. When I told her, this is Tracy, when I told her, my mother, I won't agree to do that, to forget, she asked me why I needed to hurt them so much. So basically, the wife now knows, and in the present, she's like, oh, just shut up, we know what needs to know. That stuff. It's not the past, it's that present. That's like, you sneaky fuckers. Okay? You sneaky fuckers, you know? And then again, to maintain contact with these people. And again, she does say, oh, you don't have to see her. But really, just goes without comment in these two cases that, oh, limited contact, it's fine, you know. Really? Now, here's another fun thing, and we might do a couple more on this. Susan Ford, the author, right? Now, she's probably, I think she's alive. She's about 100, I think, maybe. But the point is, she wrote another book about mothers and daughters and something. Now, this is a fun little preview, because I think I've reiterated what I needed to about this. Right. Let's see here. Let's see. So in the acknowledgments, this is a preview of what I might do. This is the last thing on the very last one right here. This is the acknowledgement before the table of contents. So acknowledgments, right? My stepfather, Ken Peterson, for his encouragement and many kindness to me. And finally, I want to thank my mother, Harriet Peterson, for her love and support and for having the courage to change. So there's an implication that Susan's own mother was, something happened there, right? It's very interesting because she ended up writing a book about mothers and daughters. And she gave an interview in which she said, well, I had to wait until my mother died to write this book. Now, Susan Ford is no spring chicken. She's about, well, I don't think she's 100, but she's about like 80 or, yeah. Right. So I was like, wait a second. So in this book written in 1989, you say, oh, my mother had the courage to change. But in an interview 5-10 years ago, she says, oh, I had to wait until my mother was dead to write this book. Susan, would you like to talk about something, perhaps? Right. Anyways, that's a little preview of what I might do if I can still find those links. But that's very interesting. That, you know, it's like, what are you hiding, Susan? You know, what are something else there, Susan. You know, it's a little closer to you than just your clients, right? It's anyways. But that's good. That's what I wanted to talk about for 15 years. So I guess here it is. It's like limited contact for even this extreme abuse in the past and the extreme lack of acknowledgments in the present that, oh, I'm not going to cover for your ass, okay? You can have the choice of having a relationship with me if you acknowledge all these terrible things or none at all. And these people don't make that ultimatum or don't have that thing of, you know, it's not what the, because for me, it's not what happened in the past. In the fucking present, are you able to acknowledge all those things? Or is it some bullshit cover-up, right? Why would I want that, right? So I think that's basically it, right? It's just that acknowledgement of wrongdoing and knowing that it's wrong and not just wanting to immediately, oh, but don't talk about it because, you know, I might look bad. So that's important. Again, more important than you, right? So yeah, I guess that's, again, in 2000, what was it, 2005? I read this in 2006, 2005. Was that the, January 2005. Yeah, 05. Yeah, the Happy Face Dictatorship, that little cover I put up I put that up a couple of months ago now, maybe a month or, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I kind of wanted to talk about. That was it. That was the gist of it. Is, okay, so this forgiveness stuff is just bullshit because a lot of the times it's, I want to cover my ass and not be exposed. I don't want to talk about these things, and it's easier for me to forget. So you're going to forget because it hurts me, and my fifis are more important than yours, right? Yeah, no fucking things, right? And again, my mother pulled this shit with me too, you know? Again, the abuse wasn't as extreme or whatever, but in terms of the cover-up bullshit where, oh, well, let's not talk about this, same fucking thing. As well, we all did things, and, you know, it's you know, the past is the past, and bullshit cliche after bullshit cliche. But the answer is, I don't want to talk about this, is, you know, it's always a polite way of saying, shut the fuck up. That's what these are, you know. My mother was pretty devastated, but in the next breath, she asked me to forgive him. So again, not even, oh, it was so terrible, I didn't know about it. Yeah, whatever. Oh, I didn't know about it. Oh, don't tell anyone. No, that's just gross. Sorry. That's just fucking gross. You know, my mother was pretty devastated when in the next breath she asked me to forgive him and not tell anyone else in the family. When I told her I wouldn't agree to do that, she asked me why I needed to hurt them so much. Do you love it? All of a sudden, I'm the bad guy in all this, right? So again, that's that shitty thing. Is you're the bad person, right? Is immediately the mother's devastated, but immediately, oh shit, other people are gonna find out this is bad for me. It's not about, oh shit, you know, we really hurt you. Don't tell anyone. Well, that's your values, and mine are a little different, right? So I guess we'll end on that. Again, we might do the Susan Ford thing and try to see, hey, so what's up with your mother, Susan? Susan? Anyways, it's very interesting, you know? Let me see, is there anything else said? I mean, this is already, no, this is good. 30 minutes is good, 27 minutes so far. I don't think I have anything else to add. Let me jog my memory here. You know, no confrontations of husband. Yeah, yeah. So minimal contact in both cases. Minimal contact, despite the extreme abuse and the extreme present lack of acknowledgement or wanting to cover it up immediately. You know? Right. So these kind of co-abusers or enablers or silent partners, they don't want to confront the husbands, and they don't want to leave the husbands, and they don't want anyone to know. Right. So just sit in the silence of it. Right. And again, the problem with the contact, now we can go on. The problem with the contact, of course, is if you are in contact, right, and then other people ask you about stuff, oh, your father's great, huh? And there are some stories in the book about that. You know, there was one woman, I think, who the father died, and then she went to the funeral, and then everyone's like, oh, the father was so great. It's like, yeah, well, I was being molested or something, right? So what do you say about that? Because again, as I've said, and again, this is point number 2, it's not about the mother, the father, the victim, even if it's some extreme abuse like this. It's everyone else. Everyone else is then complicit. Because if other people are like, oh, the father is fucking great. And it's like, well, okay, maybe he's good at like this one thing you like, but he also fucked me when I was a child. You could never bring that up, right? So it's this constant refucking of the victim that I'm supposed to go along with the lies over and over and over again, right? And that's why I didn't keep in contact with anybody in my family, because what's the point? You couldn't talk to them about it, right? And again, for me, it wasn't incest, it wasn't sexual abuse, but even the lesser stuff, it's the same dynamic. It's the same dynamic, you know? So I guess that's it.